Well, hello there. How are you? I'm Stephanie Gordon. I am the Vice President for Professional Development at NASPA, and I am really excited to be here with Jason Pina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Pina. I'm pleased to be the 2020 chair for our NASPA conference. I serve as the Vice President for Student Affairs at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. So welcome, everyone.
Great. Well, I'm excited to be here because one of the main parts of my job is actually to work with the 2020 Conference Leadership Committee in selecting the programs for the NASPA Annual Conference. And so for this presentation, we're going to go through a number of activities and talk about what it means to be a presenter and submit programs for the annual conference.
So we're going to mute ourselves now so you don't have to stare at us for the next few minutes and talk more about Austin and the wonderful conference we have coming. So I am super excited for us to go to Austin. Not only will we be throughout downtown Austin, but we're hoping that you will join us to embrace the local area, engage with members of our association throughout Texas, stand up for social justice issues in the state, and truly engage the city that is uniquely weird. The slogan, Keep Austin Weird, is focused on the small businesses and eclectic neighborhoods that make up the city. We're excited to share with you the program topics that the committee developed as our focus areas for this year's call for programs. The buzzwords these days are all about student success, and this year's committee is looking at how we can do this across the university. As student affairs professionals, we must be innovative in our design of cross-divisional approaches that contribute to student success. We must create a holistic and supportive university environment in a manner that resonates with today's college students, empowering our students to navigate the myriad of issues threatening to disrupt their success. On these slides, we will share the questions that we hope your programs will answer that will allow the Conference Leadership Committee to review and select the programs that meet the needs of the current student affairs educators.
So that's right. For the next couple of slides, we're going to show some questions that the Conference Leadership Committee came up with. So for example, the first one on this slide is, how do universities provide an effective menu of options for the continuum of mental health care needed by students within a culture of campus care? You'll see on the call for programs page all of these questions listed out under each one of our focus areas. And this is an opportunity for you to connect these questions to your submission. So make sure that you take a look at these as you look at the conference website. The next topical area is collaborations and partnerships. With this diminishing resources and budgets, collaborations and partnerships are really necessary to support student success in higher ed. We know that collaboration encourages creativity and innovation and builds relationships and offers really a better depth of knowledge and benefiting all parties, including the students, as well as personally and professionally as student affairs professionals. We really must seek to encourage and cultivate new partnerships inside and outside of institutions, and must challenge ourselves to form relationships and partnerships that are different than the established frameworks that we use all the time in our regular institutional structures. So these questions are the ones that we're talking about with connecting with partnerships and collaborations. We're also encouraging folks to bring different types of individuals. So vice presidents might bring their provosts or business officers to really truly bring this collaboration partnerships to life.
Our third theme is focused on advocacy and activism. As we all know, higher education is under scrutiny from government, parents, employers, and others who question its value proposition. Student affairs educators must provide the best environment for students in an increasingly diverse student population with shifting expectations from stakeholders. We have a responsibility to improve the narrative about the true value of higher education by educating and inspiring students for leadership in our communities.
The final topical area is the idea that it's time to redefine and realign our profession. You've seen lots of discussion about this in the Twitterverse and on all kinds of social media. Current leaders of the student affairs profession inspire and transform lives within the profession. However, as the field and its leadership diversifies generationally, demographically, and functionally, tensions now exist among the existing narratives and the lived experiences of some student affairs professionals. We really must continue to evolve and investigate how the demographics of students who enroll on our campuses changes and the ways that we as professionals must evolve and realign the student affairs profession.
Some of you on the call may be from California, and we recognize there is a ban on using state funds to travel to some states from California. The NASPA Board of Directors reviewed this decision back in 2017 and decided to remain in Texas to support our student affairs colleagues in the state, as well as take a stand for social justice issues for which we support and engage every day on our campus.
So while we're talking specifically about the NASPA Annual Conference that's in Texas in the submission of the programs, you also want to know that this is actually the same for the Connected Conference in California. There is a separate call for programs for those individuals who are in California who want to present at the San Jose State University Conference. Can be found on the conference.naspa.org website, but that link will be live, and is live now, and you can submit programs if you're planning to be in California for the Connected Conference. It'll be really exciting because we're going to beam conference sessions back and forth between the Austin site and as well as the San Jose State University site. So it'll be a unique experience for both the state employees and others who decide to go to San Jose State University and those who are in Austin as well.
Now let's get back to basics. You will need to submit your program proposal by September 3rd. Please, please do not wait until start thinking and planning about this at the last minute. You can jump right in and start reading the focus area questions, thinking about the competencies, and trying to match on presenter match so you can meet someone new and present together. The way you do this is you log into the engagement page and begin your submission. The best part of the NASPA submission process is that you don't have to have your entire program done before you submit. And you can get emails of what is in NASPA's database along the way throughout the self-service by using the self-service email button. You can build it as you go along. Stephanie will tell you a little bit more about that later. Now to getting down to the brass tacks. There are 6 different types of programs to submit for the 2020 conference. First, you have pre-conference workshops. These take place on Saturday and Sunday. They're either half day or full day. You can submit one of these programs if you're interested in taking a deeper dive on a particular subject matter or program. They are an extra fee for participants, and your program content should offer lots of interactivity and takeaways. The second highlighted program type are called poster sessions. These are opportunities that showcase a visual representation of data, programming, or original research that allows participants to have a one-on-one conversation with the author or researcher. This is a great way to share your dissertation research. The third option is general interest sessions. These are the traditional sessions at the conference, 50 minutes long, and should cover one of the focus area questions we talked about previously. The fourth option is called constituent group sponsored sessions. These are our traditional sessions, but you have the opportunity to have a knowledge community or a division sponsor it. Each NASPA division or KC has the opportunity to sponsor a few programs during the conference. Don't worry if your program isn't sponsored, it's still considered for the general interest spaces. The fifth option is called SA Speaks. These sessions are TED Talk-like sessions where we are asking you to submit a personal story that connects to student affairs work. In addition to the general submission process that we'll review, there will be an extra step to ensure that we get a sense of the SA Speak applicants. The final option is referred to as scholarly papers. These programs are an opportunity to present and get feedback on scholarly work that you are doing. You will provide an abstract for the paper you will write. You don't have to write the paper, but a robust abstract with academic references and data will be submitted by September 3rd, and then if accepted, your paper will be due in early February. So that's it. Those are the program types. Now, Stephanie, let's get into what makes a standout program and an effective submission.
So it's pretty clear that as the effective proposal process, you need to make sure that you're submitting a short and concise program outline and description where you end up digging into the details in the program outline and description. The description should address the program format. Will it be a lecture, a panel, a debate? What are the goals of your presentation, and what is the evidence that your program works? For example, using some data, some research, a specific model or theory. It should really also share about how the conference participant is involved. Is it a discussion? Will there be small groups? Is there a case study analysis? And finally, during that description and the program outline, you should share the time spent on various activities. For example, introduction, 5 minutes, icebreaker, 5 minutes, review of data, 20 minutes, discussion, 20 minutes, etc. So when you think about each program type, you're going to want to make sure that you're describing what's going to happen in that particular program appropriately. As Jason just described, there are several different program types, and each requires a different type of submission. You'll notice that presenters are on this slide, and then you will be talking more specifically about the presenters themselves. You'll add information about the presenters who will participate with you. Each general interest session or constituent sponsored session can have up to 8 presenters join you in presenting your session. Essay Speaks and our narratives or scholarly paper sessions are a little bit different. For Essay Speaks, it's usually one person who is submitting an Essay Speaks, while scholarly papers are really one person who's submitting it, and the manuscript might have multiple authors. Time constraints require that a single individual present the paper, but the names of each author will appear on the conference schedule. It's important that programs, in order to be effective, are well written and have short abstracts and really are clear in the program outline and description itself.
So moving into some other content areas that you will be asked to select. NASPA has guiding principles that also help to segment the program submissions in our review process. We'd like you to select one of the 4 guiding principles you see on the screen. These guiding principles offer an overarching view of what the program can provide at the annual conference to our participants.
Along with the guiding principles, we ask that every presenter select 1 or 2 professional competencies that match the content of your program submission. Each one of these competencies has a foundational, intermediate, and advanced button that will also be selected. If you aren't familiar with the professional competencies, I suggest that you take some time to read them and determine the level at which your program content fits these competencies. Every selection you make helps participants sort through the nearly 700 program sessions that will take place at the conference. We want to ensure that your content matches the expertise level and that participants are really prepared for what you will offer in the session itself. Some other areas that you'll be actually checking off as well are target groups. Target groups are the identities of the individuals, the professional identities, for example, community college professionals, graduate students, vice presidents for student affairs, etc. So who is the program geared toward? Don't just select vice president for student affairs if you just want vice presidents to come and participate in your session. If the content is not directly related to what vice presidents for student affairs do, then you won't want to check that box. If this program content is focused on new professionals and graduate students, make sure you check that box in order to have folks know what session you're looking at. As well as institutional types. While something can pertain to multiple institution types, you have to also make sure that you're delving into the content that's specific to the institutional type, either that you're at or that you're presenting about. These, again, are ways that participants will sort through the programs to know what they would like to attend. In addition, the review process matches people who have expertise in these various areas in order to review those programs. So the target group, content areas, professional competencies, etc., are very important when you select these checkboxes.
There are many content areas of student affairs that you can see on the screen. We ask that you select at least 1, but not more than 4 content areas that are included in your program. For example, you may select assessment, equity, inclusion, and housing and residence life if you're looking at a program that has assessed data on API students in residence halls. The goal is to try to provide more ways that the participants can sort on the program sessions that are provided at the conference in Austin.
So as we go through this presenter submission process, this is where we'll want to make sure that you understand that this is a build the program from start to finish. So when you log into NASPA Engagement, you'll click on the submission portal on the conference.naspa.org website and log into the program submission portal. You'll get to this page which basically says that you have a welcome section, and then when you scroll down before you add a program, there's a little add program button is where you'd actually add a program. So for ease of use, I've actually added a program here of how to submit a program. It's a program type is general interest session, so I selected that program type, and then I added a title, and right now you'll see that I did not finish my program yet. It's only 15% complete. So new this year, we have this presenter portal, which tells you how complete your program session is, as well as these little check boxes and X's that note what sections are not yet complete. When your program is complete itself, all these little check boxes will be checked green and you'll be all set, and this will say 100% complete. An important note on this is that there is an email confirmation button that you can click at any time to get an email confirmation on what's in the NASPA database for the annual conference. For example, if I sent myself an email today, it'll just note that I only have the program session format and program title complete. I have not done anything else on this program itself. But as I go through and build this program, I can send myself an email that confirms how much information is in the database for my submission. Any program that is not complete by September 3rd will not be reviewed. So please make sure that you log in and complete your program by September 3rd. The deadline will be by midnight Eastern time on September 3rd. That's the Tuesday after Labor Day. So make sure that all of your check boxes are checked green, and add specific information that is well written and included in all the things that we just talked about. Again, it'll be important that when you submit the programs that you add NASPA at naspa.org as a trusted email source in order for you to be able to get those emails from our system. An email confirmation should arrive to you no more than 5 minutes after you click that little button. And if it doesn't do that, you can send an email to us at NASPA. So the program review process, just to give you a little information about that, it is an online review process. We did just send out the call for reviewers in this summer, and we have an online questionnaire that matches program reviews to your content areas of the conference itself. And then we match those reviewers to our program sessions. A note that pre-com reviews take place from September 9th to September 16th. It's about 1.5 weeks of review, as well as then our regular program review happens from September 11th to September 30th. Each reviewer will receive 7 to 9 programs to review, and you can both review and submit programs. I don't know, Jason, if you have any other recommendations or advice on the program review and evaluation process?
Regardless of your submissions this year or in the past years, I would encourage you to get involved in this process. I'll talk a little bit on the next slide about it, but I think it's an awesome opportunity for you to contribute and give back to our profession, and also see what type of scholarship and efforts are being made on our campuses across the country on a myriad of different topics. So to give you a little bit more insight, each program is reviewed multiple times during this review process. I participated personally the last couple of years and was amazed at how many ways we look at these programs. The Conference Leadership Committee will review all the programs and their program reviews themselves. In the past, we've received about 1,800 program submissions for 700 program spaces. So it is a pretty competitive process, but a process that ends up allowing us to present the best of our profession to our colleagues to help our students succeed at greater rates and deeper, meaningful ways of connecting on our campuses across the country.
Great. So one way that we are able to connect people with individuals across the country is our presenter match. This is created for presenters to be able to work with colleagues across the country in order to match with each other and write some information about a program that they'd like to present. Once you go to the Conference 2020 website, you click the Program and Events button, and that presenter match tool will be on the right-hand side of the screen. And you can log into that and write a little abstract. You can check off some boxes like we discussed earlier around the target groups, the communities that you'd like to present for, and a little abstract of what you'd like to actually present about. And then you can go back to that website to see if you've matched with anyone. You facilitate that process yourself. So if you log in, do presenter match, you'll want to make sure that you go back in and see if you've matched with anyone. I recommend doing that as soon as possible, since it's already August 15th and the presenter deadline is September 3rd. If you have questions about the presenter match, you're welcome to email me or anyone else in the NASPA staff, and we can help you navigate that process. So in order to try to just make sure that we're getting the answers to the questions that you may have, I would love to open this up to see whether or not we have some questions. And I think we might actually do that. Let's see. All right, so one of the questions is about the California folks, about how folks in California indicate the preferences to present in San Jose. So actually this is a separate call for programs process. So when you go to the conference@naspa.org website, there will be a section that says NASPA Connected Conference, and you'll want to go to that website, and there is a link there to submit for the California conference. It still has all the same content areas and the other aspects that we described here on this website, on this live briefing. But we have a separate process so that we can make sure that we get the right California presenters right over there in San Jose. So for folks, we will be adding the slides to the conference website, as well as putting these up on the reviewer and submission pages on the conference website. So for those who would like the slides, that will be happening after this presentation. So the process for submitting more than one proposal, when you go back into the presenter portal, that little add program, so I'm going to click back. So sorry for those who may get a little seasick in going backwards on the presentation, but right here there's a little add program button, and every time you add a program, you can add a different content area, you can add a different type of program. So for example, if I wanted to submit a pre-conference workshop proposal that's a 3-hour workshop, that submission on a topical area, that submission will be really specific to that pre-con. But if I want to submit a 50-minute session also on that same topical area, that submission will be different, and I can add a program, select the constituent sponsored if I wanted to have a KC sponsor it, and submit a program there. You will start to have multiple programs. So for here, you'll see it says program type. And it'll have program type here, general interest session. If you have a pre-conference workshop, you'll have a pre-conference workshop program type, as well as all of the different aspects of the program that you have to complete for that particular session type. Every time you submit a session type, a different session type, there are different requirements for each of those session types. So right here, this how to submit a program session, every one of these pieces have to be built out for a 50-minute session. If this was an SA Speaks program, you would only likely see 4 different bullets down here. It would have the program type session format, the title, the abstract, and a place to upload a video about your SA Speaks, different than a pre-conference workshop or a scholarly paper. For scholarly papers, when you submit that presentation type, you'll have all of the information about abstract, who the presenters are, but you'll also have a place to upload that paper in order to display the abstract of what you are going to write for your scholarly work that will be reviewed at the conference. All right, let's see here. Maria, is there a process to request KC sponsorship? It's so actually you don't have to reach out to the chair. So when you go into the program type function, so let me see if I have that actually in the back end here. When you actually get here, you'll submit a program type, and one of those types is constituent group sponsorship. That constituent group, you'll go down and you'll see a list. You'll see the knowledge communities, you'll see the public policy division, you'll see community colleges division. There's actually about a list of 12 different constituent groups. When you click knowledge community, you'll then come to a page where you select the knowledge community that you'd like to be considered for sponsorship. You can pick any one of the 36 knowledge communities. You actually can select 2 for the possibility of sponsorship. Once you click on those, it'll be able to put this into the queue to be reviewed for the knowledge community, division, or group. So you don't have to reach out to anyone. You just have to submit it under this this confirmation, and this will be an opportunity for the KCs to both review your program and also for it to be considered for general interest session as well. Because if your program is not sponsored by the KC, it will continue to be considered for the general interest session time block. All right. Let's see. Can scholarly work pieces be theoretical, or do they have to be empirical pieces? So when you submit a scholarly paper program type, there are several different aspects that you're going to check off, whether or not it's something that is quantitative, qualitative, if you're going to have theoretical or empirical data that you're going to share. So all of that can be found at this program submission area. So when you go to the conference.naspa.org website, make sure you click on program session formats, and that will tell you all about the various program session formats and what you need to have in order to submit those programs. If you click into the program session portal of submitting a program and just want to look around, you can do that as well. We will not assign reviewers to any programs that are not complete. So it is okay for you to go in. You can't break the tool. You could just go in and play around a little bit. All right, Jason, I think we're all set.
Sounds good. Well, I can't see you now. I hope to see the 30 of you that are on this call in Austin in just a few months. September 3rd is the deadline. Like we've said, go into the system, check it out, think deeply about how you want to phrase and position your program submission so it can have the best and most accurate review. And I wish all of you well in the reopening of your falls on your respective campuses.
Great, thanks. This recording will be placed on our conference website, and also for those who registered and weren't able to attend, it'll be emailed out to folks who were not able to attend. So hopefully you all have a great afternoon. Thanks so much.
Bye.